So I mean, the first UFC fight away from Vegas, I guess, right? I mean, I'm curious. Are you like enjoying the travel, or did you kind of like have the routine down and it felt comfortable? What's it like for you?
It's definitely different for sure. I've definitely had that Vegas routine down to like a T, and then already from being out in Texas, kind of throw me off a little bit, but at the same time, I'm ready for it, man.
Back in an arena again as well, packed last time, 15 seconds. I mean, is there something about that arena environment that kind of helps you or propels you to performances like that?
Yeah, definitely, man. I think I was talking about it a little bit before in the previous interview, but I don't know what it is about like adding more pressure and having more fans and hearing the screams and the crowds and stuff like that. Kind of coming from like football games, because even in high school we had huge crowds at our games, and it was I don't know, man. It's just like something about having a bunch of people around watching me. I'm like, I could do something crazy.
Is it like nerves or just you want to just put on?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like it's part in a way being like scared and being nervous, but at the same time, like having that voice in the back of your head, like, yeah, but this is a great opportunity to do something.
Talk about Alex, right? I mean, tough dude, like maybe not the most intimidating looking fighter on the roster, but obviously can get in there and scrap. I mean, what do you think about him as an opponent?
Dude, he's a well-rounded, experienced veteran. He's been in the UFC since 2016, so he's had tons of fights. He's fought former champions, fought Donald Cerrone, another OG. So he's got a lot of experience, man, and he's got a very solid, well-rounded game. So when I heard that I was going to be fighting him, I was very excited. But at the same time, going back to the nerves, man, it kind of shot my nerves up. But that's a good sign to me.
Win here, that'd be three in a row. I think you'd be 8-1 in your last nine overall. I mean, that's a pretty damn impressive run. I mean, are you thinking about where this puts you or where this propels you in your career? Is it too early to start thinking about things like that?
Probably a little bit too early right now, but that's just kind of like my personality, man. Like I've been taking it step by step, and I think that's important. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, I can't help but not think about the future. So it definitely has crossed my mind, here and there.
Last thing for me, I guess. I mean, we've seen two very different kinds of performances from you, right? Like, I mean, sub 20 seconds, or we get a hard fought decision. This is a tough guy. So, what do we see here? I mean, is this going to be a 15-minute battle, or is this another one of those ones where you can go get it done in 20 seconds or less?
Honestly, man, I kind of see it going to either or a mix of the two. So, um, and that's just like I'm trying to come from a place of humility because I always want to give respect to my opponents and assume that they're going to be the toughest, fiercest version that I'm going to face. So, um, I do truly believe I could go out there and finish it quick, but at the same time, I'm ready to go all three and get the decision if I have to. But main priority is to finish this fight.
Oh, okay. I was going through your Instagram a few days ago, and when you posted like the split picture of like you and Alex, you said like I got a lot to say, but like forget all the pre-fight talk. Was that anything specific, or was somebody trying to get you to kind of talk more? Or where did that come from?
That just came from like personal experience. I've like every time I've talked about a fight coming up and stuff like that, I make it like kind of a long drawn out thing, which is like it's cool in a way because I'm like opening up to people and giving them my actual thoughts, but just in my mind and where I'm at now, I just kind of felt like you know what, I'm just gonna shut up. I'm gonna put my work in, and then after the fight's over, I can talk about all that stuff.
Was there anything specific in this build-up that kind of clicked that now you're not going to talk about this, or was this just over your career you've kind of matured into a new fighter?
Yeah, I think sense of maturity for sure. Think like, I mean, it's good to talk about, what you're trying to accomplish and stuff like that. But I think like too much talk and it's like almost like the equivalent of overthinking. You're just like putting so much in your head and then so much out there. It's like it's a lot to keep up with, and I think it's just like a form of overthinking. So for me, I'm just trying to simplify, my mindset and everything.
And then specifically on Alex, you mentioned that all of his I think his experience. I think he has the same amount of fights as both Usman and Colby just in the UFC, and we see a lot of guys. They say like, oh, he hasn't fought anyone like me before. So I'm gonna ask you like, what do you have that Alex has not faced in the UFC, or is it just you're gonna go in there and prepare for yourself?
Skill wise, I don't think I necessarily have anything he hasn't faced. He's and going back, he's had plenty of fights with plenty of really really good, well rounded fighters from all different types of styles. So in terms of like the actual skill, he's faced probably better guys than I am. But at the same time, this is mixed martial arts. This is an MMA fight. I kind of like equate it to like, a fight to the death, man. This is survival. This isn't, fighting for points and fighting for rules and stuff like that. So, um, I think that rawness and that just like primal fighting ability is something that he'll be a little bit off put by. And that's just how I've been always operated as an athlete. It's like, it's not just a game to me, you know what I mean? It's survival, it's do or die. So